Hey everyone, Plug Power stock is trading at $4.50 per share as of this recording. But where could Plug Power stock price be 1 year from now? That's the question I'm going to answer in this video, looking at several estimates and assumptions, and I'm going to show you where I'm getting each and every number that I'm using for my estimate and assumption to determine where I think Plug Power stock price could be 1 year from now. So let's take a look. Let's see where I think Plug Power stock could be.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so what I have pulled up here is the consensus analyst estimate for where Plug Power revenue could end up in 2024 and 2025. So according to a group of analysts that follow Plug Power stock on Wall Street, they've come up with estimates on revenue. Putting that all together, you get these average figures here. So for the year that ends in 2024, analysts expect Plug Power revenue to increase to 1.68 billion and then to increase again to 2.49 billion. For those 2 years, that would be revenue growth of 56.5% and then 48.3% for the 2 years ended in 2024 and 2025. So we're going to use this revenue figure as one of our estimate and assumption for our valuation estimator. The other number I'm going to use is from Plug Power's income statement, and this is the weighted average number of common stock outstanding, 599,465,146, from their latest quarterly update as of September 30th. That's another assumption I'm going to use. And then I'm also going to use Plug Power's price to sales forward ratio. The stock is trading at a forward price to sales of 1.581. I'm going to use that as a multiplier to determine where I think Plug Power stock could be 1 year from now. So let's look at the comprehensive figures. All right, so what I have here is all of the estimates and assumptions pulled in all together. Let's start here from this side. Diluted shares outstanding, that's the 599,465,146 number that I got from Plug Power. This is how many shares outstanding the company has. Now, for my valuation purposes, I'm keeping this constant, even though the company has diluted shareholders significantly over the years, and they are likely going to continue doing that given how much cash flow they are burning every quarter. I'll show you that as well. But to be on the more optimistic side, I'm going to keep this number constant, okay? The other number I'm using is the 2024 estimate for total revenue of 1.68 billion and the 2025 estimate for 2.49 billion. Remember, I got those from the analyst estimates, 1.68 billion and 2.49 billion here. I plug that in there, and then when you divide the total revenue with the diluted shares outstanding, that's what gives me my sales per share of $2.80 for 2024 and $4.15 for 2025. So remember, when you're making an estimate using the forward price to sales ratio, you need the sales number for the 4 quarters ahead or the 1 year ahead, because you're using the forward price to sales ratio. So if I want the valuation for Plug Power stock for 2024, I need the sales estimate for 2025. If I wanted the valuation for 2025, I would need the sales estimate for 2026. So always 1 year ahead when you're using the 1 year ahead price to sales ratio. So that's why we pulled the 2025 estimate and got the $4.50. So now we go to the right side here where I've incorporated that $4.15 here. And so if Plug Power is on track to deliver $4.15 of sales per share in 2025, and we assume that its price to sales valuation stays the same, that's the number we got from here, 1.58. If we assume that's the same here, just update that, 1.58, then the valuation of the stock could be $6.56 in 2024. Now, that would be a nice increase from the $4.50 the stock is trading at right now. That would be a nearly 50% increase. But what if investors are more optimistic about Plug Power stock and they assign a forward price to sales of 2? That could increase the stock price to $8.30 in 2024. $8.30 would be a significant, nearly double where it is now. So that would be a nice improvement. But what about the flip side? What if investors grow tired of Plug Power? They say, you've been losing so much money for so long. We're done with you. We're done trusting in your growth prospects. We just want out. We don't want this stock. What if that happens and the valuation falls from 1.58 to just 1? Well, then the stock price could fall to $4.15. That wouldn't be a disaster, right? In Plug Power, investors have seen worse. The stock is down way more than that right now off its high. So this wouldn't be a big disaster. And then what if the valuation halves from 1.58 to 0.75? Well, then the stock price could fall to $3.11 in 2024. And again, that wouldn't be a big disaster from where it is. Look, the stock price used to be over $60 per share. Falling for another $1.50 is not going to devastate Plug Power stock investors who've seen that stock price fall from $60 per share. So the biggest factor in determining Plug Power stock price in 2024 is going to be the progress on revenue. How good, how effectively do they grow revenue? Because if this revenue number is on track instead of for $4.15, if it's on track for, let's say, $2.07, then that brings down almost all of the valuations. It does, in fact, bring down all the valuations below the current stock price right now. So the big factor is going to be revenue and how it achieves this revenue. Because if it keeps losing, let me show you how much money it's lost. So this is how much cash it has on hand, 567 million cash on hand and short-term investments. But in the trailing 12 months, the company lost $1.17 billion in the trailing 12 months. That's almost 100 million every month the company is going through. And that means it'll run out of this cash in 6 months if it continues at this pace. And the trouble is that this pace is even worsening. It's not improving as the company is growing. It's just getting worse. And this is a major risk. If it continues in this direction, then investors will not be willing to pay these prices for Plug Power stock. They would be paying a much lower forward price to sales, and there would be much more shareholder dilution. So the revenue per share would be much lower, and the valuation will be much lower. So not only does Plug Power need to achieve these revenue targets, but they need to do so more effectively, more efficiently. So where do I think Plug Power stock will be in 2024? My best estimate will be that the stock price still is in the $4 range. I would say anywhere between $4.15 to $4.95. It's going to stay in that range, in my opinion, because I don't think the company is going to make significant progress forward in terms of reducing those losses on the bottom line. Now, a big catalyst could be if they get more government benefits from the Inflation Reduction Act. They still haven't seen meaningful benefits from that. If there's more clarity on that, they receive more grants, more loans, and they get a cash infusion from that, that could be a huge benefit that lift the stock price much higher. So my best guess is that the stock price stays in the $4 range for 2024. But there could be upside if the company makes better progress in terms of growth more effectively, or if they get that government subsidy, the government grant, some government benefit to improve its supply, lower its cost of supply. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.